The meeting back to order, please.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
4, 0, 1, or 1, 0. Mike has removed himself from the meeting. Okay, so we're on 241. Mr. Sagarino.
Yep, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Next up, we have a continued public hearing to update the board on the status of the all-alcohol license for Uno Chicago Grill. We previously read the notice into the record at our last public hearing. Just as a reminder to the board, Uno's closed in January 2018. At that time, we were told they're attempting to sell the license, and they would continue to update us on the status. We received an update in August 2018 that a transfer would be filed in the near future. Most recently, in July 2019, we were told that there is a new restaurant under review at the planning board, and we should expect an application to transfer the license shortly. So we have Mr. Vaughn here to give you guys an update on what's going on with this license.
Thank you. Mr. Vaughn.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, Attorney Mark Vaughn with the law firm of Reamer Bronstein. As the board knows, I do represent the owners of the mall, Simon, as well as the applicant that is looking for the transfer of the liquor license. So, as Mr. Sagarino indicated, since the last time that we did appear before you, I did update the board that we had been before the planning board for the special permit application, which is necessary for the zoning approvals. Since that time, we did actually today file the liquor license transfer application with your office, requesting a transfer of the liquor license from Uno's to a restaurant operator that is interested in opening an Asian fusion-themed restaurant at this location. Name of the restaurant is Karma. I think I had indicated that before to the board. So they would be taking over the former Uno's space. So again, we did get the special permit approval. Taken us a little while to get the application paperwork together for the liquor license. I think, as Betty knows, it can be a bit cumbersome in terms of the materials that are required to satisfy the state for the application, but that was submitted, and it's my understanding, based upon the schedule that the board has, that we would be before you at your meeting in December for the hearing on the transfer application itself. So everything is moving forward with this location to utilize and have the license transferred. Obviously, we know that the transfer needs to be approved by your board as well as the ABCC, but that is the update as of right now.
Great, thank you. We'll start with some questions. Bob, you're on the subcommittee for alcohol, so we'll start with you first.
Okay. Good evening, Mark. I've not heard anything about this application yet. Can you give us a very brief description? First of all, where's the entrance to this particular property? Because the front of it is the pizza place now.
Yeah. So the former Uno space was kind of a large space for the restaurant, so it's actually been redemised so that the right-hand side of where Uno's was is where Frank Pepe's is now. They're up and operating. So this space that we're talking about that the new restaurant would occupy would be the balance of the space to the left.
Looking at it from the mall parking lot.
Yeah, I'm sorry, looking at it from the mall parking lot, from the Middlesex Turnpike side. So to your point, there would not be an internal corridor entrance or exit. It would be an exterior entrance exit to the restaurant. So and actually, it's good that you brought that up, because one of the items that was before the planning board is that we did need to get site plan approval for that new entrance, and they're having a decorative feature there that would allow people to have a nice doorway with an overhang and whatnot. So, but that's the balance of the Uno space, and the restaurant is. Pretty highly regarded Asian fusion restaurant. They have, I believe, 2 or 3 other locations in Massachusetts, but they are very excited about the opportunity to be able to locate here in Burlington. They think they have a great business model. They would have some exterior patio seating as well for seasonal dining, but the vast majority of the seating would be inside the restaurant.
How many seats? Ballpark.
I forget, I want to say it's maybe about 120, but you know what, I didn't bring the...
No, that's all right, I didn't expect, I just, the question should have been, does it meet the requirement for the alcohol license?
Yeah, no, it definitely does,
Yeah.
yeah. It exceeds the minimum that is required for a full license, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Jim?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Bob actually asked two of my questions, but not sure if it's too early to even ask this, but do they plan on doing like takeout where, kind of like where Frank Pepe's has a couple of spaces designated for them? Are they planning to do the same thing, have a couple of spaces designated for the restaurant, for Karma itself, for pickup?
They would like to be able to have some short-term takeout parking. That's actually a subject that we've been talking to the planning board about because Pepe's does have some dedicated Pepe's takeout signage. I think the planning board's preference would be that it would not be tenant-specific necessarily, that it be for general restaurant usage. So someone parking in a space, it wouldn't be limited to one particular restaurant tenant or another. But we are looking to have, I think, no more than 4 spaces that would be just for short-term takeout parking.
That's it.
Mr. Priest?
No questions, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Just one quick one. So you're not going to be able to go into this restaurant from inside the mall, strictly outside?
Strictly
in?
outside, yeah.
Okay.
So, in that respect, Mr. Moran, it would be similar to the Friendly Toast is the
Yep.
other example of
Yep.
that at the Burlington Mall currently, where you don't have that internal connection.
Okay. Great, thank you. So that's just a continuous hearing on that. We don't need to approve anything, it's just an update, and that's it.
Correct. We'll need to continue this hearing till December 16th.
Okay, would someone like to make a
Mr.
motion?
Chairman, I'll make,
And just, if I could, I understand that Uno's, we're kind of at that point in the year, too, where the renewal paperwork would need to be submitted, so it's my understanding that current license holder is following up administratively to provide that renewal paperwork for the upcoming year. But, so, I just want to acknowledge that.
And you would like the new application to be heard on December 16th?
I think that would be your next available
Is that
meeting,
con-
right?
That's convenient for you?
Yes, that'd be great,
All right.
yeah.
So what will happen is we'll close the public hearing on the Uno one on December 16th if everything is good.
Right, so we're just doing a continuance right now, right?
It's continuing to December 16th tonight, and then we will open up a new public hearing for Karma.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I make a motion, we continue the public hearing on Uno Restaurant Incorporated, doing business as Uno Chicago Grill, formerly of 75 Middlesex Turnpike, Burlington Mall, to December 16th, 2019, at or after 7:15 PM.
You want to do it earlier? Is it okay to do 6:30 maybe?
I have no objection to changing it. All right, Mr. Chairman, I amend that motion to continue, do you want me to read the whole thing again?
No.
No, all right, to 6:30 PM.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded, all those in favor?
All right.
So 4-1-0, something like that.
Still have a few minutes to go for the
Yes,
next
we
one.
still have to wait for and we will not take another recess. We'll just
Can you
kinda-
run us through the menu at Karma while we have a few minutes?
Slowly, please.
Tell us about Pepe's.
Just for the sake of the conversation, though, since we have a couple of minutes that, and the question has no bearing on anything, but there's going to be an influx of restaurants. Are they all going to be looking for these short-term parking, do you think, or?
I don't think all of them would necessarily, Bob, but I think a few of them tend to, and you might acknowledge that with a pizza or a Chinese, they tend to have, some element of takeout. So I think with those two, they do have that short-term parking. But I can tell you that there's numerous other restaurants that we've been before the planning board on recently that are coming into the Burlington, such as, Cafe Nero has that outdoor location now. There's a restaurant called Guai-Kaku, I always miss
Spell that, please?
Yeah, I know it. And they're going into the, I still call it the Tire Battery Auto Building, the TVA building, but I know that that's not the right name. But the out parcel building, there's a few restaurants going in there, but I'm not aware of any short-term parking there, and, but I think for select ones, they may want to have it.
Okay, thank you.
And what is that restaurant? What the one with the really long name there?
Yeah, it's.
What kind of restaurant is it?
As I understand it, it is, they would also be looking for a liquor license at the appropriate point in time, but it's a restaurant that is a Japanese barbecue style, where actually every table has individual table roasters with under-table units where you can actually cook the food at your table. So they have a location, I believe, in Chestnut Hill currently.
Really?
So it's spelled GYU-KAKE.
There you go.
Hot pot? Will it be hot pot? Really?
Like fondue.
Yeah, it's, they give you special instructions as how to cook your food. It's all safe, and, you know, they've got the appropriate
It's really
code
nice.
yeah.
So it's kind of like melting pot meets hibachi.
Yeah, that's probably a good description, yeah.
All right. Sounds interesting.
If you like the melting pot,
I like hibachi.
I do too. And it's 12 minutes, we can go. Okay. 27. Yeah, 3 more minutes. I'd like to thank the audience for being patient, everyone out here tonight.
Actually, if I may, Mr. Chairman.
Absolutely.
Mark, I don't know if you're able to give us a little update on the old Sears Auto, and as far as how that's coming along and how far to completion they are?
Yeah, well, the Sears, the auto building is, you've been down there, I'm sure you've seen, you know, Cafe Nero is open. All the other spaces are finishing up. They've got tenants that have been lined up for a few of the other spots. We're actually before the planning board this Thursday night for another restaurant special permit that would be for an operator called Sweet Greens, that would be looking to operate the corner that is closest to the main Sears building, so that particular corner. So
That is going to be a very popular place, and you just made my wife very happy.
What is it?
Sweet Greens, there's one in Linfield.
What is it?
It's like
it's a salad-oriented, fast casual restaurant
Yeah,
concept.
You'll never see me. It's way too
health
healthy.
food, Joe.
Way too healthy.
And then for the main Sears building redevelopment itself, obviously, I'm sure everyone has seen the ongoing construction and everything that's happening there, but that's taking shape. There's been restaurant tenants and other retail tenants that have been signed up for that location. Shake Shack is coming in to that spot. They would not be seeking a liquor license or a beer and wine license, as I understand it, but there are others that would be. But that space is on schedule and moving forward. So, and as the board may be aware, or I know you, maybe another minute here, but Simon has also been working collaboratively with the town, the planning board, engineering, conservation on the sidewalk construction requirement on Mall Road. If you recall, one of the requirements was that Simon would design and pay for the construction of a sidewalk that would connect from Middlesex Turnpike down to the kind of the main entrance, if you would, down by the Burlington Mall. There's that missing link there presently, so that's moving forward. I know they needed to get Conservation Commission approval because it's on the side of Mall Road. There's some conservation jurisdictional areas there.
All right, fantastic. Well, thank you, Mark, for the updates on everything, but it is now 7:30, and we can move on to the next public hearing. Mr. Sagarino.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Next up, we have a public hearing to update the board on the status of the all-alcohol license for Besido Restaurant. We read the notice into the record at our last public hearing in September. Just as a reminder to the board, Bacito closed in July 2018. In August 2018, they indicated that they would continue to update us on the status of a transfer. We received an update in July 2019, and we were told at the hearing in September that the license was currently under negotiation. So we've asked Mark to come here and give the board an update as to the status of those negotiations.
Excellent. Thank you, Mark. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. So, again, for the record, Attorney Mark Vaughn with Reamer Bronstein, and Paul is correct, this has to relate to the Bacito liquor license. So a tenant has been identified for that location. The lease is presently being finalized. I have spoken to both Simon and the restaurant operator, and I've been told that that lease is being wrapped up with the final remaining items, and it's anticipated that it'll be done over the next couple of weeks. So the intent would be to make application to the board to transfer the Bacito liquor license to this new restaurant operator. It would be the same exact space that Bacito was in, the same square footage. Well, I'm not in a position to formally yet identify who the restaurant operator is. I need to wait till for the lease to be signed, but I can tell you that I have been in touch with them as recently as last week, and their architect, as I understand it, is finalizing the floor plan presently. I think the intention would be to utilize a similar layout in terms of where the kitchen is and whatnot, but every restaurant obviously likes to have its own identity, layout of seating and all that, so the architect is finalizing that. As with the prior matter on your agenda that I spoke to in terms of Uno's and Carmo, so we do need to get special permit approval from the planning board for this. Every new restaurant operator needs to get special permit, so our expectation would be that we'll be filing for that with the planning board sometime in November, December timeframe, which would then allow us to have that hearing and then make application to the board for the transfer of the license. I know the board's policy has been to get your zoning approval in place first before, coming to this board, so we were going to follow that process. But again, I'm pleased to report that things are moving forward. The expectation is that we'll be making application soon, so.
Thank you. Once again, we'll defer to the Alcohol Subcommittee.
Thank you. So you're not anticipating having but the question is, when we get to December 16th, are we going to have an application from you, or are we expecting after the first of the year for that to happen?
To be honest with you, Mr. Hogan, I think that just given where we are time-wise, we would need to file with the planning board, and may not be before them until December. So I think our filing of the liquor license transfer may not be happening until after that.
So Bacito's will still be applying for the permit for next year, so that stays alive.
Yeah, I think both would need to.
Yeah.
Just given the nature of the timing of it.
Okay.
They'll need time for public hearings with the Board of Selectmen and comments from staff as well, so it's more time. January.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Jim?
No questions at this time.
Mr. Priest?
No questions, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So we have no questions from anyone. Already answered. We need to move this along till...
I just want to say, I do appreciate the patience and support of the board as it relates to both of these, and no pun intended, but sometimes these deals do have a long gestation period in terms of consummating everything, wrapping the lease up, and floor plans and all that, but I can assure you, both are moving forward.
Well, we have one going on now that's taken very, very long, probably about 5 years. So we understand what that's like. So we're pretty easygoing when it comes to that.
Who are you talking to?
Mr. Chairman, before I make
Yes.
the motion, do we want to adjust the time on this as well?
That's what I was going to ask Betty next.
35.
6:35.
If things go well with,
can talk for 5
as anticipated, hopefully we will, that'll be a very short hearing.
Okay.
Too, so.
All right, then I'll go ahead and make the motion to continue this public hearing on Bacito Restaurants Burlington LLC, doing business as Bacito Restaurant, formerly located at 75 Middlesex Turnpike, Burlington Mall, to December 16th, 2019, at or after 6:35 PM.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, against, 4-0, 4-1-0. Thank you.
No,
Thank
just
you, Mark.
4-0.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Just 4-0.
Just 4-0?
Yeah, because he's not opposed to it.
4-0. 4-0-1, 4.
Yeah, Betty will.
There was a 4 in there. Just put a 4 number first, okay? Mark, thank you very much.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion adjourned, second, and all those in favor? Aye.